Hi, it's Liv BG Pickle Master here. I have to change that name, that's such a dumb name. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about how the show The Good Place turned me atheist, even though that's kind of a clickbait title because I'm not like a full-blown atheist, but like I would say I'm like agnostic. But I'm just going to be briefly talking about something that happens in that show, how it led to a slight spiritual awakening for me. So, basically, The Good Place, if you don't know, is a show about 4 people who die and go to the afterlife, and the show is showing them in the afterlife. And I'm not going to talk about all the details and everything that happens in the show, but I will like briefly touch on something that supports my point. Basically, in this universe, you have your good deeds that are like calculated and then your bad deeds that are calculated, and that decides whether you go to the good place or the bad place when you die. But basically this turns into a whole conundrum because they figure out that way too many people are going to the bad place. Like more people, the majority of people are going to the bad place. So they look into it and they find out that basically even when people do good things, it's giving them negative points because there's no like ethical consumption under capitalism. Like basically, for example, a guy like buys his girlfriend a sweater. It's a really like nice deed. He had good intentions and he was just trying to make his girlfriend's day better. But the problem is that the person who made the sweater is under like extreme slave labor. They're making like pennies and they're suffering. So even though you're not responsible for like that happening, your actions have a negative effect on society. So obviously that goes into like this whole deep discussion about capitalism and yada yada yada. But this just led me to think about how heaven and hell would truly work under our society. Like there wouldn't be a fair heaven and hell. I mean, this seems like common sense, but like I'm saying this as if I was like a hardcore Christian at one point in my life. I never was. Even when I was like 8 years old, I was like really, like I don't know. But this just made me think about it harder. Like heaven and hell makes no fucking sense. Why? Because first of all, obviously our lives are not infinite. We live for a very short period of time compared to, you know, the world's existence. We live for like a very, very short amount of time. And even if you're kind of a shit person, you could also die at like 30, no shit. And it's just not fair to make someone suffer forever because they were kind of a piece of shit for like 30 years. It just doesn't add up. But most importantly, under a capitalistic society, like our good deeds would not really be good. No shit. And if that's the case, then how do we even measure who's good and who's bad? You could go and like be like, it's all about your intention. God knows your heart. Okay. But I just feel like it doesn't make sense to say that people are either good or bad. Like people are nuanced, duh. And under your POV, someone who's like not a horrible person but is just like kind of a mid person would be going to hell, which is discussed in the show because one of the girls in the show is like, she's not a horrible person, but she's kind of just a lazy like person, and she goes to hell. Oh, that is a spoiler. I didn't want to spoil it because if you guys want to watch it, I didn't want to like fucking spoil everything, but that's kind of a spoiler. Anyway, another thing they talk about is that people obviously change, and one of the girls in the show, she becomes good in the afterlife. Like she's kind of a piece of shit during her life, but after she dies, she meets this guy who kind of teaches her to be good. And that's their argument for like why she should be able to stay in the good place, because like she did the work and she became a good person, but she just needed to be in the right environment around the right people to blossom into the good person that she became. And that's another thing. How is it fair to have a heaven and a hell if so much of that just depends on like the circumstances that you were lucky or unlucky enough to be born into? Like, if someone's born in a place that's filled with war, poverty, they're much more likely to become a bad person than someone who is born in like a rich ass fucking like Hollywood Hills type of situation. Not only are they just more likely to be a good person or a bad person, but they're going to adopt the certain religious beliefs that are connected to the place that they were born in. Like if you're born in America, you're probably going to be Christian. If you're born in fucking Saudi Arabia, you're going to be Muslim. If you're born in India, you're going to be Hindu. I know that's kind of an overused argument, but like it is true. Like if so much of it is just based off of luck and where you're born, then it's not everybody's on the same playing field in a lot of different ways. I'm not a philosopher and I'm not trying to sound smart. This is literally just my opinion fully. But yeah, I just really realized, I mean, I always kind of realized it, but it just confirmed like what I already knew. And like, you can be religious, like no, like nobody cares. I don't care about your views. It's just unrealistic to believe in a sort of afterlife that works like that. And that's why The Good Place is such a good show, because it points out all the flaws in an afterlife that just works in like, you're good, heaven, you're bad, hell. It just doesn't really work in any way. So I would highly recommend watching that show. I love it. It's so, and it sounds like it's a super like serious like technical show based off of what I'm saying, but it's like, it's not like that. It's like a funny show. Like, it has serious elements and it gets like deep sometimes, but it's like mainly a comedy. So you don't have to be a super like intellectual like dork to watch the show. Like, anyone can watch the show. It's not difficult to understand or anything. And it's one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite show of all time. My favorite show of all time is The Vampire Diaries, but The Good Place is like right underneath it. And the characters are really relatable and really funny. Yeah, great message, great acting, great characters, great romance, great everything. Everything about that show is great. What else was I gonna say? I'm trying to think. I think that's it. You know, this isn't me telling you what to think. You think what you want to think. I'm just a girl who wants to express my love for The Good Place. This is not a philosophy lesson. Yeah. Everyone's gonna have their own views. That's just how I see it. I'm not here to shame anyone for their views. And that is it for this video. Live BG Picklemaster. I really need to change my name because that is so fucking cringe, but yeah, let me know what you want to see next and subscribe. Or don't subscribe. I don't really want anyone to see this. But yeah, bye.